Do they want us to win? Let's not disappoint them.
Letting the title rolls down. Good night.
We've had many games of the year, Black Myth Wukong most notably, coming up and just coming out of the woodworks, really surprising everyone. Company's first AAA game, and it was a banger. PlayStation picks up this little company, and they're working on something called Concord, and we're like, oh, what's this about? And we get the trailer, and we're like, oh, okay, a little bit of Marvel vibes going on here. It's not too bad, but I hope they're not directly derivative of every game ever created since 2016. We got gameplay, and then they were like, it's a 5v5 hero shooter, and we were like, it's one of those. Needless to say, I've been pretty happy that I didn't put any money into this game whatsoever, because having watched the gameplay and seeing some reviews for it, and this is just purely off of gameplay, we're not going to talk about politics here, although that's something going on over there. Gameplay looks slow, clunky, derivative of pretty much every Overwatch clone ever, and that's saying something considering so many people were saying that it's not an Overwatch clone, it's different, trust me. Sorry, Concord, but you've been diagnosed with AAA Western development. Naturally, with something like this, and being directly associated with the PlayStation brand, or one brand or the other, because I'm not picking sides on which piece of plastic is better than the other piece of plastic, because it's at the end of the day, it's plastic. I'm not going to sit here on Twitter for like 48 hours in the bloody mind trying to argue which, piece of software that I don't actually own due to reasons just buying the disc doesn't actually give you the game. That's a whole other story. The copium is what we're here for. Very disappointed about the decision of bringing Concord offline. For once, the studio nailed all of the blow from the get-go. Polished and fair gameplay. It's debatable. Crisp UI, beautiful color palette. Addictive progression. Is that why people are jumping off for XP? Jumping off the edge there? If it's addictive and it's fair, then why do you get enough XP to just jump off the edge? No bugs at launch. That's I gotta give them that. That's not technically wrong. No predatory microtransactions. I don't know. Balanced characters, all interesting in their. Holy shit! Oh, God, that was. I don't know. I just started tasting bullshit, and yet the community pushed back. The reasons, pronouns, one dev comment would be nice to focus on what multiplayer games are all about. Fun. Yeah, that would have been nice, but the game wasn't fun. It was a fucking snooze fest. What kind of things does this man say online? Is he perhaps maybe a fan? Ding, 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 ding. Are you the one of 7 people still playing Redfall? This gives me a headache, lol. Kudos to the top right dude for not being plagued by the delusional Xbot sickness. Which fucking are you seeing yourself? Do you own a mirror? I think it's very interesting. People are just like straight up just dogging on Concord, comparing it to like every game in existence now. No longer just it's an Overwatch clone, because we have hundreds of those. We have plenty of those, so I don't even know why they thought this was a good idea. Concord was like, what, 8 years to develop and a $100 million budget. Maybe 1,000 copies sold total, maybe 2,000. It's still not enough. And then Black Myth Wukong, 4 years, maybe like, what, 50 people, 15 million copies sold. Like, it's just insane. Yeah. This is, this is, even worse. He pulled up the beta numbers. The beta numbers, not the official numbers, the beta numbers. And just when you thought it was over, I started going through the timeline, it got a little bit updated. It saw what I was looking at, who I was looking at, and then it shows me, J-Dub, who the fuck is this? And then me on the daily reminding Xbox that they lost the console war. Meanwhile, in the comments, someone says, thank God I didn't make my personality a plastic box anime profile picture. I don't know if that had the same effect as you thought it did. Also, this is something I just want to point out. I don't know if I'm just not been in the space of fucking fanboys long enough, or I keep seeing stuff like this, like blaming the Series S for holding back games. My brother in Christ, if the Series S is holding back games, how the fuck is the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 still, to this fucking day, getting Call of Duty games? Are you fucking... Granted, it looks like dog shit, right? but that's hardware from like 2013, and it's still fucking running pretty good. I have to give Call of Duty props, for in terms of, and this is disgusting for me to say, they have pretty good optimization. Sorry, more bullshit. But they have pretty solid optimization when it comes to getting their games running. Their servers, a little bit less, on that one. Also, we're talking about consoles being held back, but we're still using upscaling techniques. And if you were to look at PC specs for, minimum requirements for a game, it would say, hey, you need to have like a 3080 or a 40 series card, which is not the majority of what people own, because that's just ridiculous to assume everyone's spending thousands of dollars on a PC setup. And then on top of that, that's just to reach 1080p, and most of the console performance, even on the higher end systems, which I'm going to put that in quotations, are still getting 1080p 30 FPS. And Star Wars Outlaws being a perfect example of games just looking like shit because developers refuse to optimize. Big dog, what are we fucking talking about? You should be more upset with the developers because they're getting lazier with these new upscaling techniques. And they can just put it in instead of optimizing their games and release it, and it's still in a, quote, stable state, but it's kind of unacceptable for a generation that's gotten this far. And most of the games that are releasing on these platforms aren't hitting 60 FPS or 4K in, not performance modes, in visual modes. It's kind of fucking ridiculous, dude. Who are you really mad at? I feel like redirecting this energy to someone who actually has anything to do with it would get something done. But then again, my personality isn't a fucking PlayStation or an Xbox. And you can try and hit me with this shit all you want. I have access to both. If I really wanted to go get one or the other and just only own one of those, I could go do it. There's nothing that stops me. I'm too fucking lazy. Speaking of devs, one of the Concord devs was, had the chutzpah, the gall, the balls, if you will, to say that everyone hating on their game were a bunch of talentless freaks. If you were so full of talent, your team was so full of talent and potential, why was the gameplay loop so goddamn fucking boring? Why the fuck did that shit move like molasses? Are we talking about, quote, modern audiences? And every game that's talked about a, quote, modern audience doesn't seem to be able to reach this audience, and it doesn't seem to be a very large audience. Therefore, it must not exist, because I don't know what the fuck modern audience means. To this day, the modern audience, I'm assuming, just means, people in general, and, we have updated views on things. And then fucking the Monkey game comes out, and the Monkey game is pretty good. Black Myth Wukong Monkey game, fuck yeah, what the fuck? That's what I fucking want. I don't give a shit about anything else. I think we should just start normalizing up in the ante on just ridiculous stuff, not just obvious that robot is a barrel and here are its pronouns, and that's what we put most of our development into. And that's apparent because the gameplay loop is super fucking derivative, and it's pretty much just like any other game ever. I don't have a problem with listing character backgrounds either, when it's pretty much the majority of the marketing is the characters, right? I want them to be interesting, and I was like, okay, they're kind of unique, and then you get into the game, and I don't feel any uniqueness from the animated trailers or whatever backgrounds were for the characters at all in the gameplay. I feel no uniqueness whatsoever. Fuck the haters. I just picked up a physical version of this bad boy so I can play forever. Oh shit. Who's gonna fucking tell him? Also, if you're curious on what kind of interactions that the console fanboys tend to have over on Twitter in the smaller amounts, this shit right here, this queue with a little meme PCs waiting with PS5 owners with a PS5 exclusive. And if we go ahead and take a look at this really quick, let me type into PS5 console exclusives. Let's see the entire list. So looking at our PS5 only exclusives, damn. Damn. That's gonna have to be taken off soon. That's the same thing with this one. And there's a couple other, that one too, this one. Actually, you know what? They can keep that one. They can keep that one. Yeah, basically the only enjoyment is what you're telling me that you get out of it is that someone else can't have it and that you do have it. So therefore, you're not actually enjoying the game. You're enjoying the idea of being exclusive, and that's it. You're not the game. not the game. And you can tell this just by the fact if you pull up any of these guys' Twitter accounts, they post more about, shitting on the other person that they disagree with, and they love arguing and holding something over someone's head, more than likely because they weren't loved properly as a child. And, for some people they turn out okay, but for console fanboys, unfortunately, their personalities never develops and they need to cling on to something. Maybe a childhood console. Maybe they had an original Xbox or a PS2, back in the day, and that's just been them ever since. They never left. They never left that fucking room. When a lot of people end up in this state and they only care about the brand or the logo that's on the front of the box rather than the contents inside, it tends to turn into this type of thing where the company goes, "Oh, so you're just gonna keep licking my boot no matter what I do? Okay, cool." And they can do whatever scummy move that they want. I'm going to specifically note one that I think is a total bitch and a half to deal with, which is the paid online services for Xbox and PlayStation. I think both of you are getting royally bent over, and excuse my choice words, if you will, but I don't think it's fair that you have to pay to use online services that are actually hosted by the developers and publishers. Are you telling me that I can go hop on, I don't know, I buy a copy of Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3, if you will, and I decide I want to play online, right? And I access their server. I can just play online for free. I can access their voice chat system, messaging system. I may need a third-party account. If I want to just talk to people separately, by myself, surprise, surprise, the Xbox Party Bar exists in the Windows platform. And if you would prefer to use Discord, you can use Discord. Who would have fucking thought? What are you getting out of $100-something a year? Don't hit me with the, these are people's jobs. You should support them because that's their jobs, their livelihoods. And I have one rebuttal to say to that. It's not my fault. Do you think it's the management's fault? Do you think it's the higher-ups' fault for banking all of that on one idea that was very clearly fucking stupid and derivative? Telling me that managers are not held responsible for managing their team. Higher-ups are not responsible for representing and giving orders to their groups, teams, companies, organizations, etc. You're telling me they make all the money in the world and hold no responsibility. This is exactly why people just get stupid rich off of doing fuck all because of idiots like this, and they just grovel at the feet of them. Anyway, Concord's getting shut down, and I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Let me know in the comments what I can do to improve on the videos. Subscribe, stick around, and like if you like it, dislike it, and I am out of here.